Hello, today I'm sharing a task planner or to-do list I have created in Google Sheets. Let me give you a quick overview and then I'll guide you through step-by-step instructions to create your own. Firstly, every time you enter a task, it will be automatically numbered. There are drop-down menus for category, priority, and status to help you organize your tasks efficiently. Next, you'll notice mini pop-up calendars for due dates. And as soon as you enter a due date, the spreadsheet will calculate the days left to finish the task automatically. At the top of the sheet, you will find a summary section. It shows the total number of tasks, tasks that are done, pending tasks, and overdue tasks. This provides a quick overview of your task list. And just below the summary, there's a visual representation of your task completion status over time using a sparkline chart. It's a handy tool to track your progress visually. And lastly, I have added a neat feature. When you check off a task as done, its text turns gray, making it stand out from the rest. It's a simple way to spot completed tasks. Now let's dive into creating this task planner from scratch. And here are simple steps to follow. Let's start by setting up headers. I'll use hashtag for numbering tasks and tick mark for checkboxes. To get the tick mark symbol, I've used char function where 10004 represent the tick mark. I'll have columns for task, category, priority, due date, status, days left, and notes. Feel free to adjust or add columns as needed. Now for numbering tasks, you have a few options. You can manually add numbers to each task or you can use a formula. One option is the sequence function, which writes all the numbers at once. Another option is to use an advanced method with array formula and row function. Equals array formula if D8 to D is not empty. If it's not empty, it continues with the formula. That is row D8 to D minus row D7. This calculates the difference between the row number of each cell in the range D8 to D and the row number of cell D7. This gives us a sequence of numbers starting from 1. So in simple terms, the formula creates a numbered list of tasks based on the row numbers, but only for rows where a task is entered. And it does this for the entire range of tasks all at once thanks to array formula. Let's check if the numbering updates automatically as I enter task in the task column. You can see it happening as you add tasks. Now let's add checkboxes. You can adjust the font size to make them smaller or bigger as you like. Next, for category, priority, and status, I'll use drop-down menus. And to do this, I'll use a separate sheet where I'll enter options for each drop-down. You can customize these options to fit your needs. Now let's create a new sheet. I'll just add headers and enter data under each header for the drop-down list. Now in the main sheet, I'll choose the cells under the category header and from the data tab at the top, select data validation. In the pop-up, click add rule and select drop-down from range from the criteria drop-down menu. Now choose the range for the drop-down options from the customize sheet. I've selected a few empty cells, so if I update the list later, the drop-down will update automatically. You can choose the display style and then click OK. And just like that, we have got our category drop-down. I'll set up priority and status drop-downs in a similar way. Now to add mini pop-up calendars for due date, I'll set up a data validation rule. Choose is valid date from the criteria drop-down and here select reject the input. Once done, double-click the cell under the due date header to open the mini calendar. It will display the current date and you can easily select a different month or year. Next, to calculate the days left, I'll again use an array formula. In the formula, I'm using star symbol which acts like the logical AND operator, and it checks if both conditions on its left and right are true. If both conditions are true for a row, the star or AND symbol allows the formula to proceed with calculating the days left. If either condition is false, the formula skips that row. As you can see, the formula is working. It has calculated the days left for all three rows that meet the conditions. Now, if you update the due date to a date in the past, it will display a negative number to indicate the number of days overdue. The last column is for adding notes. You can write any important or additional details related to a task in this column. Next, select the cells above the headers and merge them together like this. Now let's prepare the task summary at the top. First, create a cell for complete percent by selecting two cells below each other and merging them together. For this, I'll use a countifs function. Now this formula calculates the percentage of tasks that are marked as complete. It does this by counting the number of tasks in column D that are not empty and have their checkboxes marked in column C, then divides this count by the total number of tasks. Let me check a few checkboxes, and as you can see, we are getting decimal numbers here. To fix this, select the cell containing the formula, then choose the Format as percent option from the menu at the top. You can also adjust the number of decimal places from here. The percentage will change as you add more tasks. Now select the cells we merged at the top of the headers. Here I'll add a sparkline chart using the formula. Now when you check off checkboxes, you'll see the visual progress on the sparkline chart. Next, I'll calculate the total tasks. And for that, I'm using countif function. This formula simply counts the number of cells in column D that are not empty. For the done tasks, I'll use the countifs function. Countifs function allows us to count cells based on multiple criteria. Here it counts cells in column D that are not empty and cells in column C that are marked as true, indicating the task is done. Similarly, for pending tasks, I'll use the countifs function. Similar to the done task formula, this counts the number of tasks that are pending. It also uses the countifs function but checks for the cells in column C that are marked as false, indicating the task is pending. Lastly, we'll calculate overdue tasks. This formula counts the number of tasks that have a due date and are overdue. It uses the countifs function to count cells in column D that are not empty and cells in column I that have a value less than 0, indicating the task is overdue. Now I'll quickly do some formatting. First, I'll add a heading or title as to-do list. Make font bold and increase the font size to highlight it. Then I'll remove grid lines and add borders. And now I'll delete any unused columns and rows. Next, I'll select the to-do list area and apply conditional formatting. From the Format tab, I'll choose Conditional Formatting. Select Custom Formula from the format cells if drop down and add the formula equals $sign C8. It checks to apply formatting to rows where checkboxes are ticked off. This means that the formatting will be applied to tasks that are marked as done, making them stand out visually. Customize the formatting style as per your preference and click Done. Now let's check by checking off few checkboxes to see if the formatting works properly. Looks good. Lastly, I'll add colors to the task planner. You can choose the formatting style that suits your preference. And with this, our to-do list or task planner is ready. As we conclude, if you found this tutorial useful, remember to show your support by liking and subscribing. Your feedback is always appreciated, so feel free to drop any comments or questions below, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy planning!